Hey guys, what's going on? Carter here. Got a few requests to talk a little bit more about the Socom Delta, so I figured I'd take a minute to do that. I really actually covered quite a bit of stuff in my first look video, but had some time to carry this around, and I think it's a good time to kind of talk about a few features, things I like, things I kind of don't like. Overall, I love this blade. Overall, it's just really nice. I mean, they hit it out of the park with this. One thing that still gets me is, for some reason, this blade almost looks like it's too big for the handle. When you really look at it, you can tell it's not. But when I flick this open, I'm like, whoa, that's huge. It's a big folder. Look how much is hanging out there. Huge blade. I think it's got almost a 4-inch blade. Very large folder. That bearing system is just so smooth. First time you flick this open, you assume that it's going to have some play, but there is none. I mean, it is rock solid. Very good lockup with the steel insert here. It's got the same type deal as the whale shark, kind of the cutout section, and then it has a steel piece where the thumb studs act as a blade stop. So that's steel in there, you're not hitting G10. And the steel is actually a large piece that goes around the pivot, so it's not like it's just a little tiny piece that they clamp in there. It goes all through the inside here, is that steel insert right there. So very secure. A lot of detail on here. Just like the whale shark, I think it has the same style backspacer, titanium. You know, just a lot of extra detail, like these spaces. I really like that lanyard hole. Some people may not, because it sticks out kind of, but I think it looks really cool. I like the look of it a lot. Uses a proprietary wing screws on the body, and that's fine. You know, there's really no reason to take this apart, but it does give you the ability to adjust the pivot, which is just awesome. Fortunately, I have no need to do that on this knife. It came dialed in perfect. Absolutely perfect. Super smooth. Yet no blade play. And that Tanto, Microtech does their Tantos right. That is just wicked looking. Wicked. You could use this for so many applications. Nice thick tip. Very cool. Ergos on this are good. The handle's kind of skinny, or at least for me, just how it tapers down like that. Gives it a good profile in the pocket, but it does kind of, you know, you can definitely feel it when you grab onto it. It kind of feels like you're grabbing onto a small stick or something, or at least me. It's got this cool kind of ridge right here. So this is kind of my natural position that I grab into, and this would be excellent for draw cuts. You know, you've got this jimping your thumb can go onto, but then you can also kind of tilt it up a little more like this, and then use this jimping here, and it's pretty functional. It's fairly aggressive. Both of these are, more so this one, I would say. And so both of these actually feel really good in hand. Lockup out of the box is about 60%, but because of that steel insert, I mean, you're not really going to feel any wear on that lock bar. It'll last you a really long time. Has a overextender, so that you can't push this out. It's part of the insert, which is just genius, how they just incorporated all that together. Really cool. So yeah, you can't overextend that lock bar, so that's just perfect. It's got really good textured G10. This is heavily sandblasted, so it's not smooth, but it's also not peel ply. I mean, it kind of feels like peel ply, but what they've done is they basically sandblast it, so it blasts away like the resin, and what's left on the surface is the fiberglass or whatever that's inside the G10, and it makes a really nice texture on there. Nice big pivot. I mentioned the bearing system in there. I'm going to do a video on the bearing system. There's a lot of controversy about the bearing system, so I'm going to do a little video, do my opinion. Great reverse grip on here. It's got some jimping down here, some pretty good jimping. I don't see why it's all that important, but you know, you can never have too much jimping as long as it's not uncomfortable. Pocket clip, in classic Microtech style, it's pretty, you know, you got quite a bit hanging out. It's not ridiculous, you know, you've got about that, but a little bit more than some like. I'm fine with it. I've never been one to try to hide my knife. You know, I'm fine with it. I've never had a problem with it, but I know some people really don't like other people knowing that they're carrying a knife, whether that's for legal reasons, like it's kind of frowned upon, or they just don't want people knowing about it. So that's definitely something to consider. Fit and finish on this is just excellent. This actually reminds me a little bit of the Zon. I don't know why. It kind of just does. It has similar size, similar application, and then it's got, you know, kind of just a narrow, straight handle as well. So this really does remind me of my Zon. The D10 on this is very weak though. I mean, if you go like that, it's fine, but any sort of force and out pops a blade. So if that's something that bugs you, then this probably is not necessarily the knife for you. Perfectly centered, you can see there. It's got the same V cut as the whale shark. Titanium clip, I think I mentioned that. Obviously the lock bar is titanium. It's got a little bit of a texture to it, whether that's machining marks or intentional. The jury's still out on it. It doesn't look like machining marks I'm used to seeing, but then again, I am not a machinist, so I have not seen all there is to see. Got this nice ramp right here, so you can get to the thumb studs. Those are just executed just perfectly. Great size without being too big. And it's easy to screw those up when the thumb studs act as the blade stops too, because they tend to have to be pretty close to the pivot and pretty close to the scale. Sometimes it doesn't quite work out the way it should. So yeah, really cool knife. I definitely recommend picking it up. I've always wanted the Socom Elite, but I didn't like the tip down only carry that they had. So when this came out with the similar features to the whale shark, just had to pick one up, and I really, really like it. Oh, blade steel. This one is CTS 24P, I believe is what it is. From what I understand, it's similar to, what is that, M390 is what I'm hearing. But be aware that I've seen this blade in S35 VN as well. So I'm not sure what the story is behind that, but they seem to be doing it in both steels. So if you go to buy it, make sure you know what steel you're getting, if it matters to you. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Alright guys, that's just another look with a little more detailed information on the Socom Delta after I've had some time to play with it and carry it and things like that. Really, really nice blade. Pulled it off very well. Good stuff. Alright guys, take it easy.